Okay, we're back with another HSI VOR question, and we're almost through all of them. But let's go ahead and answer this one. So this is going to be for HSI A. So just as we did in the other problems, let's go ahead and remove all the ships to really make this more difficult and make sure we understand everything about this problem. All right, so here's our blank template. The first thing we need to identify is what radial we're going to use on here. So we can see from our HSI, it looks like we're pointing directly eastward. So it's going to be our 090 radial. So we'll go ahead and line that up. So we have our radial. Do we have a to or a from? Well, since these are lined up, this is going to now be a to flag. We can have these two lined up just like that. And now what does that tell us? Well, if we know it's a to flag and we're going, that means we're going to be going towards the VOR, and the radial that we have dialed in is going to be on the opposite side of it. So that tells us that the plane's going to be nowhere on this side of the VOR because we're going to be still flying to the VOR relative to the radial we have. So that means we're going to be here on one of these sides. So the next thing we have to do is we have to place our plane, and we're going to be on one of these quadrants. We can tell we're not on the line because our radial is not directly centered. Let's just make this real simple. Line this up so our radials, you can see, are all lined up here. So ultimately this would be kind of right in the center. Yeah, that tells us basically of this radial that's going right through here, we're going to be on the northern side of this line. So that means we're going to be in this quadrant right up here. So the last thing we need to do is we need to align our airplane with direction of flight. So we can get that from our HSI. We can see right here, we're flying a heading of pretty much 210. So that's going to be a southwards heading. It's going to be a little bit south-southwest. So we're going to be somewhere in this quadrant heading more or less this direction. So let's see if we have an answer that matches that. So, all right, here, yeah, I would say this number one, any of these in this quadrant would be right, except for we have to pick the one that has the direction of flight. So that's going to be number one. So I think we are number one, and that's your correct answer.